Okay, guys, this goes with your Khan Academy today. This is finding a missing side length in an isosceles triangle. So what makes something an isosceles triangle? So isosceles is where two sides and two angles are equal. All right. Find the missing side length. So all of these in isosceles triangles, when this comes down, this is actually going to be perpendicular. All right, and this x is going to represent this whole length here from here to here. All right, so again, anytime that we need to solve for x in a right triangle or a side length when we have just, when we're given two sides, we have to use Pythagorean Theorem, but the numbers have to represent a right triangle. So when I highlight this, okay, this x does not represent the length of a right triangle. It is half of that x value would be that right triangle. So I'm going to put a different variable there, maybe represent that with y. So set this up, I'd have y squared plus 7 squared equals the square root of 74 squared. All right, so now what happens when I square a square root, or if I square root a squared? So like if I have 4 squared, that is 16. Okay, the square root of 16 is 4. These are inverses of each other. So just like if I had 3x equals 6, I could divide both sides by 3, and they cancel each other out because they are inverses of each other. Multiplication and division are inverses. So whenever I square a square root, these are inverses of each other. So it's as if that square root goes away. Okay, so like I could square, or if I take the square root of 74 in my calculator, it's like 8.6. Okay. Then if I were to go and square that again, so go 8.6 and square it, okay, I go right back to 74. All right, you're just doing too much work. You are undoing what you're doing. So this would be y squared plus 7 squared equals 74 whenever you square a square root. So then here I'm going to subtract 7 squared. So I'd go 74 minus 7 squared gives me 25. So y squared equals 25, and then I take the square root. Okay, but that is just from here to here. So make sure in your Khan Academy, when you get that, your last step is you have to multiply that by 2. Because this is halfway, so times 2 would give you a 10 for that. So you'll have to double it. Okay. For this next one, again, we're cutting things in half. So in order to do Pythagorean Theorem, I'd have to use the numbers associated with the right triangle. Right there. So now this 8 is the whole entire thing. So if I need to use a number for the right triangle, I'd have to cut that in half. So like these two are equal. So then my equation would be 4 squared plus x squared equals the square root of 52 squared. Some of you guys will probably end up shortcutting this. That is okay. So then I'll have 16 plus x squared equals 52. So subtract 16. X squared equals 52 minus 16, 36. Square root, x equals 6. Now, some of you guys would be like, okay, so this one, x, I needed x here, right? That represents the entire thing. Here I need x. Well, this is the entire thing here. All right, x is the height. I do not need to multiply it by 2 here. This would just be my answer. All right, x equals 10 over here. This is what I would plug into Khan. This is what I would plug into Khan. All right, I'm going to have you guys probably help out with this one. So number 3. So again, this is the whole thing. So I'm going to plug a y in here. All right, because it's going to be half of that. So I'd have y squared plus 2 squared equals the square root of 13 squared. Y squared plus 4 equals 13 because those guys cancel out. Subtract 4. Y squared equals 9. Square root. Okay, so now it doesn't want y though. In Khan, it'll want the x, which is double the amount for y. So if I multiply that by 2, x would equal 6. All right, here. So 6 is the entire thing. So if I have a number here, I can take half of it, would go here. So I'd have 3 squared plus 4 squared, because these are the legs of my triangle, equals x squared. 3 squared plus 4 squared is 25, equals x squared, square root, x equals 5. Boom, that goes there. Okay, and then the other one, the other Khan Academy you have today is just finding the slope between 2 points. So keep in mind, you will have to write this down. You have x and y, okay? M, so this is just slope. It does not want the full equation. We're just doing slope. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we did this before last week. So this would be 2 minus negative 6 over 2 minus negative 2. Then you just simplify. And I believe the answers to these are multiple choice. So this would be 2 plus 6, which would be 8, over 2 plus 2, which is 4, which would just be 2. Okay, that's all you need to do, slope. All right, 2 exercises after this ed puzzle.